What's going on, everybody? This is your boy Sylvester, aka Sly.
And the one and only Perry P. Brown, aka Mr. Ambitious.
Hey, y'all, welcome again to the Purposeful Journey podcast, man. Thank you guys for tuning in again. We're here, on the grind as always. So we just wanted to talk to you guys again today, man. Perry, you said you definitely had something that you wanted to get off your chest today. So, man, the floor is yours.
All right, y'all. Today's discussion, unhealed trauma.
Mm,
Let's talk about it.
come on.
My personal definition of unhealed trauma is simple.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't finished what you've been going through.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't resolved your issues on that you've been battling for however long you've been battling.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's that saying, hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
Hurt people hurt people. When you've gone through so much in your life that it becomes a tendency, it almost like it's a requirement for you to hurt other people just so you can have some sort of pleasure within yourself because you know you're going through a pain and some type of situation of your own. So
Yeah.
to make
Yeah.
yourself feel good, you have to try to hurt other people, and that's wrong on
Yeah.
all levels. That's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So unhealed trauma, man, it's a real thing because it's something that's not talked about. So that's why I chose that topic today. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll go ahead and elaborate a little bit.
Yeah, man, it's wild when it comes to that unhealed trauma because we all have dealt with a lot of situations that have traumatized us even to this day, and you're trying to heal from it still, and healing takes time. That's the one thing that a lot of people, want to try to rush the healing process. It's not going to happen overnight. So it's going to take time for that healing to occur. And when it comes to healing, every person is different. It's not going to happen in the same time frame. It's not going to happen in the same manner, same method, whatever the case may be. It's going to take time. But we're just wanting to make sure that you don't use that as an excuse to treat people, badly. I mean, it's unfortunate what you may have went through. It's very unfortunate, and we're sorry that that happened. But don't use it as an excuse for why you do certain things or why you act certain ways or why you choose to treat people like you mentioned, Perry, why you treat people a certain way. There's one thing, when you make mistakes or anything like that, but it's another thing when you make excuses for it. When you make excuses, then it's just like, okay, it's becoming a habit that you keep doing it. And your excuse is, oh, I'm still healing from this or this and that. We're all healing from something, but that doesn't make it right for you to do certain things or say certain things or to even treat people, the way you treat people, so it's just not right, so there's just a lot of inner work that you got to do, a lot of healing, a lot of inner work that you need to do, whether it's your inner child, whether it may be something from like growing up, your household, maybe some sort of unfortunate bad experience you went through. Somebody may have done you wrong, whatever kind of situation it is, you got to do some healing with that. And for me, I think for Perry as well, go to God. He's gonna help us with that healing process, because he is a healer, he is a provider. So once you heal from that, it's not gonna bond, it's not gonna hold you bondage anymore. You'll be free from that. And I wouldn't want anyone to be bonded with that kind of trauma, held up in bondage, held up in chains with that. You want to break those chains. You want to break that bond, that bad bond at least of that, so you want to break that negative bond.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I always say, and we've been talking about it in previous episodes, man.
Mm-hmm.
One thing is you got to check your surroundings.
Yeah.
Check your surroundings. It may be the people that who are negatively influencing you that's still keeping home to your unhealed trauma too.
Yeah.
Because
That's
you
true.
might still be surrounded by people that, also battling their unhealed trauma. So now you
Mm-hmm.
in a whole circle of unhealed trauma friends or
Yeah.
unhealed trauma
Yeah.
relationships, traumatic relationships. So
Mm-hmm.
you want to check your surroundings. Also, man, take a look in the mirror at yourself. I right before we got on this call, I had to take a look in the mirror and I gave myself a self talk.
Okay.
And I'm finna go ahead and share a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
Around this time last year,
Hmm.
I made a decision after all the stuff that I've been through in my life,
Hmm.
and especially within in the last 4, 5, 6 years of my life.
Yeah.
I made a decision a year ago to this day that I was gonna turn it around
Okay.
because all of my unhealed trauma that I've been through from a child all the way until I was 32, it just kept just bottling in, bottling in, bottling in, bottling in, bottling in to a point
Yeah.
that I was about to explode.
Hmm.
And one thing you don't want to do, and I seen a post on this the other day, unhealed people and unhealed trauma sabotage the people that are meant to be in a corner.
Mm.
By that, I was sabotaging myself
Hmm.
by hurting the people who God had put in my life to help me.
Yeah.
Like I said, I almost lost my best friend of 13 years, because of
Mm.
ups and downs that we went through, through our time of building our friendship. And,
Yeah.
we lived together for 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
he seen my best and my worst. And my worst was about to be the worst because I was going to lose my friendship with him.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I lost my relationship for 10 years to my college sweetheart because of unhealed trauma.
Mm.
And that was the person that God had put in my life initially to be my wife.
Yeah. Yeah.
But because I couldn't get through the hurdles and stop being so stubborn and selfish within myself to let God lead my path so I don't have to deal with my trauma on my own, I dealt with it on my own, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Let me say that again. Because I let myself deal with my own trauma, I didn't allow God to help me deal with my trauma. God had
Hmm.
all the answers, but I avoided it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what happens when you get in a dark space, in a dark place in your time. You don't think about anything. You don't think about
Mm-mm.
anybody. You
Nope.
selfish within yourself. You
Hmm.
self-centered,
Yeah.
and you just more so just focusing on you and thinking that everything gonna go to your plan. And
Yep.
then when things hit the fan and it doesn't go away that or the way that you want it to go, now you crashed and God had to he had to crash your landing. He had to crash
Mm.
my landing to let me know, hey, you taking off without my permission. So you're
Yeah.
gonna continue to deal with this unhealed trauma until you realize and open your heart to let me in and know that I got the answer to how I can get you through and get you transformed to your next life.
You done said something right there just now. You really just said something, and that really hit because the biggest thing that's very hard to do for some people is admitting that they need help, and a lot of people won't admit that because some people are stubborn. Some people are stubborn. Some people be like, oh, I don't need help. I don't need this. Okay, but you do need some help, even if I'm not the person to help you. However, you do need to talk to somebody. You do need to heal from this, and God wants to help you. God wants to help us. You just have to allow him to open your heart to let him in. He wants to be a part of it. He wants to be a part of the healing process. He wants to be the main part of the healing process. You just got to let him. So I admire what you just said in the fact that you held yourself accountable with that, and you admitted that you admitted that you needed help. You admitted that you needed something you wanted something to change, and you needed that change. I feel like is a very important first step. It's admitting that you need help, admitting that you may have a problem, admitting that you're dealing with something and you can't go, you just need to go, you need to talk to somebody. You need to, because let's be honest, we all feel like if we're in that dark place, we may feel like some people may not understand what we're going through, unless they've been in our shoes. So you feel like you're the only person in the world who's been through this and nobody would understand. But lo and behold, there may be people out here. So that scratch that there are people out here who have been in your shoes, who may have been worse than where you are, or maybe something similar, so you never know. So it's just a matter of understanding that it is okay to ask for help. So I admire you for that, Perry, because that I know that wasn't an easy thing, because I know it was always one of the things where it's just like, I got it, I'll take care of it. Whatever the case may be, used to you doing it yourself, but God wants us to stop that. God wants us to be like to depend on him, to rely on him, less of us, more of him, to rely on him at all times, to trust him at all times, and the people that he puts in our life for a reason, to be there to help us, they're there for us. We just got to let them be there. Even if it is in a small capacity, let them be there. They don't have to overstep boundaries or anything. Just let them be there, even if it's just sitting there with you. Just let them be there. That I feel like that's some of the hard. That's one of the hardest things that people aren't able to do, or they try to do, but it's just hard for them.
Hmm. And you know, no one says that journey was gonna be easy. That journey was
Mm-mm.
not easy for me.
No,
You
sir.
know, I was real big on not taking accountability for my
Yeah.
actions and
Mm-hmm.
for, you know, my excuses.
Yep.
Let's just go ahead and call it for what it is. If you
Man.
unhealed, you're gonna have a lot of excuses to
Yeah.
try to justify your, like you said, to justify your actions for how you going about with your business and how you treating people. And
Yep.
little do you know, the more that you mistreat people, the more that you add into your trauma.
Yeah.
The
You
more that
are.
you mistreat people, the more that you move in a, inappropriately, the more you add into your trauma. The
Yeah.
goal is to heal, not to
Mm-hmm.
harm.
Yep.
The goal is to be helped, not to be avoided.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a very avoidant type of person. I just wanted to just sleep it off. That was one
Yeah.
thing that I was big on when it came down to my depression and situations. Man, I just like to sleep, or
Yeah.
I just like
Yeah.
to keep things bottled in. And
Same.
when the bottle exploded, I exploded.
Yep.
Instead of catching it while the pressure was getting thick, but it was enough to stop it.
Yep.
I just continued to let the pressure just build up and build up and build up. And when you get too much pressure, it's gonna explode. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what happened.
Yeah.
And all of it just came out. The whole mm, divorce with my parents, the you know visual impairment, the
Mm-hmm.
failing out of failing school, undergrad
Yeah.
and grad, the
Yeah.
loss of my relationship, losing
Mm.
my friendships.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of stuff just came out on the surface and landed on the table, and then when it just ran out, it was just like, okay, what now? How can I clean this up?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I tried to clean it up by myself. It was still dirty. It was
Mm-hmm.
still dirty.
Yep.
God was like, man, I got the spray. I got the spray of your life right here to help clean up all that mess that you made.
Mm-hmm.
But I ain't listen to him. I just like, you know what? I got my own secret sauce. Let me spray my own spray and clean
Yeah.
up my own mess. And then
Mm-hmm.
when I still looked at it, it's still dirty.
Yep. Exactly. Like, man, you just said something. You said something again just now. Like it's just very, very crucial that we understand that, like you said, the goal is to heal, because we don't want to stay in that place forever. We're not meant to stay in that dark place forever. We all have had those dark moments, and I was the same way when it came to depression and stuff. I didn't want to do anything but sleep it off, be to myself. Because when I'm by myself and I'm going through something, I tend to get in my head a lot. I tend to thoughts just wander in my head, just roaming, just all kinds of crazy thoughts and stuff, negative thoughts at that, just start running through my head and stuff. And I had to cry to myself, or I just start thinking negatively, and just everything just goes wrong, in my head, and it's not healthy, it's not good, and it got me to even worse state every time because I didn't want to be around nobody. I didn't want to talk about it because at the time it was like a lot of people, and if you grew up in the church, you'll probably understand that you'll understand this. People tell you, to pray about it, and all that stuff and that. And at the time and the moment, and I'll be honest, it was just like I didn't want to hear that. I
Right.
heard that my
Right.
entire life, and while prayer is definitely important, and I see the importance of that as I got older, at that time it was just like I didn't want to hear that. That's all people said. Like, pray about it, talk to God about it. Everything's gonna work out. I didn't want to hear that. I just needed. I just needed to hear something else. I wanted to hear what I wanted to hear instead of what I needed to hear, and while praying about it is important as well, at the time I just didn't want to hear about it, which was a huge part of that depression that I went through myself. So sleeping it off was one thing that I also did as well, just like so I encourage anybody, if you can, seek help. Please seek help. I'm a Christian, but I also believe that therapy, counseling helps too. Because I look at it like this: all those who are counselors and therapists, that's their way of ministering to people. That's their
Mm.
way of ministering to people
Mm-hmm.
through whatever it is that whatever area that they're in. Could be marriage and family therapist. It could be any kind of counseling or therapy. That's their way of ministering. That's how I look at it. So I'm all for therapy and counseling, because you got some people out here, Christians out here, who are not all for therapy and counseling. And I'm like, yes, going to God. Yes, God is a wonderful counselor. Yes, that is very true. But God also allowed these people to be therapists and counselors for a reason. That's their ministry. Let them minister. All right. Just because you may not see it that way, other people may see it differently. I see that's their ministry. And if that's their ministry, they're going to minister to people, do what they do. So I encourage anybody, seek therapy, counseling if you can afford it, however the case may be. Whether it be telehealth, whether it be in person, however it is, go seek help. It's very crucial, it's very important, to help you with that healing process. And also, I've said it before and I'm gonna say it again because anybody who knows me knows how true this is for me and knows that I speak about this a lot. Go to God as well. Talk to him. Pray, pray, fast, whatever you need to do. Leave it, cast your cares, cast your worries to him because he knows what's best at the end of the day. So if you need help, ask for help. We can't read your mind. I'm not a mind reader. I can't just assume that you're gonna need help. Ask for help. Closed mouths don't get fed. A closed mouth does not get fed. So if you need help, say something. Because we've all had the moment where we've been stubborn and not say anything because we don't want to be a burden on anybody or anything like that. But that's doing more harm than good. So just it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to say that you need help. It's not, you shouldn't be ashamed of that. It's not a bad thing. None of us are perfect. We all need help. We all need some sort of help in some way, shape, form, or fashion. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Right. It's okay to not be okay.
Come on with it.
It's okay to not be okay. In fact, you making yourself a lot more vulnerable by admitting that you're not okay.
Yep.
It's a vulnerability thing. You coming
Yeah.
around with bravado, making like everything just sweet, but deep down that you really hurting, the truth gonna come out. Whether you tell the
Mm-hmm.
truth or the truth gonna tell itself,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna come out.
Come
So just
on.
go ahead and do yourself and everybody else solid.
Yep.
Admit that you're not okay.
Come
So
on
that
with it.
way we can make sure that you are okay.
Exactly.
So and I had to learn that too. I was always the helper. Let me go
Yes.
ahead and drop another gem. The
Yeah.
helper, a lot of times the helper needs help too.
Come on with it. Come on, man.
So you
That's
can't
the
be
truth.
Superman. You can't be Superman and Batman and Wonder Woman all the time.
Nope.
At one point, they needed their help. That's why they had
Mm-hmm.
their trusted sidekick. That's why
Exactly.
Batman had Robin. He
Mm-hmm.
needed a trusted sidekick to help him get through whatever trials and tribulations he was going through. So
Exactly.
just like us, you know what I'm saying? I can hold my own weight, but at the same time, I can't hold all of my weight. If I
Mm-hmm.
got somebody that's in my corner that's willing to help me get through and really help me take that weight off my shoulder, then I'm gonna
Yep.
delegate some of my weight to them and we gonna work together. We're a
Yep.
union. We're a
Come
bond.
on.
If
I'm
we ain't
telling
no
you.
bond, then what I'm doing with you.
Come on with it. Come on with it. And that's what they're there. That's what we're here for. That's what those friends that you have, family that's there for you, that's truly there for you instead of just saying that they're there for you and they're really not. That's what they're there for, So everything we go through, you're not meant to go through it alone. You're not. God places people in our lives for a reason. God places people in our life for a season. You just gotta know the difference between the two, but it's the truth. But that's what they're there for. Reach out to somebody, because you never know what people go through, even if it's just a simple hello. You never know how that simple hello can make somebody's day. You never know. Like you see somebody in person, and you just smile at them. They may need that smile because you never know. They could be having a bad day. They could be going through a lot of unhealed trauma, and they could be going through something and you never know what they need, So check up on your people first. That's another thing. Check up on your people because I was the same way, Perry. I love helping people. Anybody who knows me knows I love helping people as much as I can. Sometimes I'm giving out more than I should have, and that's the truth. But I love helping people out. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't ask for anything in return because at the end of the day, I do it out of the kindness of my heart. But at the same time, I wear my heart on my sleeve. So most people will take advantage of that. And then it just got to a point where it's just like, yeah, you gotta learn when to dial it back, because while you can help people, you can't help everybody. You can't save everybody. That's not your job to save everybody. That's not your job to help every single person in the world. That's not your job. It's not your job to do that. You do what you can within your own power, and go from there. And that's another thing, just understanding that we're human, we're not Superman, we're not any of that. We are not meant to have all of that, but God is, of course, but we're not. So you just gotta do it in doses. If anything, you gotta take it easy, don't be so hard on yourself. Give yourself compassion, if anything, because that's another thing is beating yourself up. Because if there was an Olympic event for beating yourself up, I'd be a gold medalist by now. It's
Fact,
true. Like
fact.
I can't tell you how many times I beat myself up on for different situations, and it's not good. I had to learn to stop doing that to give myself compassion. Because there's a difference between holding myself accountable and straight up beating myself up. There's a fine line and I did more crossing that line than anything. So it's just knowing when to help. It's just knowing that it's time for that change, knowing when to ask for help. And that's okay. Like you said, Barry, it is okay to not be okay. Admit that you're not okay. Admit that you may need help. I mean, it's not going to be easy because you don't want to sound like you're needy or anything. But if you need help, ask for it. You need something, ask, say something. If you need someone to talk to, reach out to someone that you believe you can talk to, whoever that may be. You just gotta read. You just gotta say something because we can't read minds. I can't read your thoughts. I ain't gonna know what you're thinking or even feeling unless you actually say something. I could ask you all day how you doing, but if you keep saying fine, and it's just like, oh, okay. But then don't expect me to know what's going on if you weren't fully honest with answering that question. And that's another thing. When you ask people like, hey, how are you? It's out of habit, obviously, when you're in conversation. People be like, oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. How are you? And stuff like that. Nobody really asks, how are you really doing?
Mm,
Because while it's okay to be like, oh yeah, I'm fine and stuff like that, how are you really doing? Because if you're really doing fine, okay, cool. But if you're really not, what's going on? We ain't got to press the issue, but how are you really doing? Are you really okay? Is something going on? You need to talk about it, whatever the case may be, so that's another thing, man. Gotta ask those questions.
that well, I'm glad you touched that topic because I just had to do it the other day.
See?
Honestly and truthfully,
Mm-hmm.
how are you really doing?
Yep.
Don't sugarcoat and don't
Mm-mm.
deflect. And that's
Nope.
another thing about unhealed trauma. You're gonna deflect
Woo.
a lot.
Mhm.
You're gonna really deflect a lot and you're gonna withhold a lot.
I'm telling you.
And you're gonna say anything under the sun to keep from saying the truth.
Yep.
And real recognize real. Somebody gonna spot your truth before you even fix your lips to say anything.
I'm
That don't
telling
happen to
you,
me so many times, and I had
man.
to do it recently. Like, come on now, you telling me something that doesn't even remotely make sense to what I'm observing. Because
Mm-hmm.
real people, what they say, realize, realize, realize.
Yep.
So I'm looking at you dead in your face. I'm seeing your energy. I'm seeing how you moving. I
Yep.
can obviously tell that something's not right. You're a little bit off, a lot off,
Yep.
but you're gonna tell me everything is okay.
I'm on
I'm like,
with it.
okay, I'm gonna sit on that. And that's exactly what I said. I'm gonna sit on that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, but when you ready to talk that talk, I'm here. Because
Yep.
I'm not gonna chase. I'm a person. I'm not gonna chase.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
that's
yeah.
something that I had to learn when I was going through my trauma. People ain't gonna chase after me to speak on
Yeah.
what I got going on. They're gonna be
Yeah.
like, okay, if you fine, then all right, you fine.
Yeah.
But then as soon as you lash out, now you got everybody looking at you crazy, like, but you said you were fine.
Right.
So why are you all of a sudden lashing out on me? I ain't the one that did anything to you. All I did was ask, were you okay?
Exactly.
What are you going through? Let me know
Mm-hmm.
what you're going through so we can help you out. And
Exactly.
as soon as I lashed out, they were like, "Well, bro, how am I supposed to know that you were going through this and you ain't never say nothing?"
Come on. Exactly. Like it makes no sense. Like be like, you're supposed to know that something's wrong with me. I ain't gonna know nothing unless you say something. Like I said, I can't read your mind. I don't know what you got going on every second of the day. I don't know what you got going on. So unless you actually open your mouth and say something, don't expect me to know what's going on. Don't get mad at me because I don't know what's going on. You never said anything. See, and you made a great point with that because you got a lot of people in this world who actually say that, who actually do that. And it's so freaking annoying because I'm just like, look, you mad at me for not knowing what's going on when not, or not really asking how you doing. You said you were fine. You said you were good. I'm taking your word for it because I trust you. But if you really aren't doing good, actually say that. Actually be honest. Be as long as you're honest, we're good. But if you can't be honest with me, that's a problem. If you're not okay, say something. I'm not going to force you to tell me what's going on. I'm not going to press you to tell me what's going on. While I had to learn that myself. Um, but at least just say if you're going through something, say that. You may not have to go in full detail, but just say that. If you need to talk, let me know. If you want to just vent or cry, let me know. I'll be a shoulder to cry on. I'll just sit there, just take space with you, take space for you. Just if you just need to scream, yell, whatever. But you just have to say something. I can't read your thoughts. I won't know what's going on until you say something. I had to learn that myself, when it comes to helping people. Like, I got to a point where, I don't want to force people to tell me what they got going on. If you want to tell me, cool. If you don't, I'm not finna, feel any type of way. Because if it was the old me and you didn't tell me what was going on, but then you told somebody else, I probably would have felt some type of way. Because like I asked you and you said you didn't want to talk about it, but you had no problem talking about it with that person. Make it make sense. But now it's just like, you know what? You don't want to talk about it. I'm not going to push it. I'm not going to force you to talk to me about it. Talk to whoever you need to talk to. But just know that I'm here for you. If you want to talk, I'm here for you. I'm praying for you, whatever the case may be. I'm praying for you. I'm here for you. If you need anything, if you need to talk to me, I'm here for you. But I'm not going to press you. But that's the biggest thing at the end of the day. Say something. Open your freaking mouth. As long as you open your mouth, we'll be fine. You just got to open your mouth and say something. Plain and simple.
And I'm glad you touched on that, on the part of, okay, you might not talk to me, but you talk to someone else. And I had to learn that too.
Yeah.
Because maybe I'm not the person you need to talk to when it comes down to certain situations. And that's
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Yeah,
If that person
yeah.
that you talk to can relate to you better than I
Mm-hmm.
can, that's cool. Just at least tell me the generals. You ain't, like you said, you ain't got to get into specifics.
Mm-hmm.
Just tell me the generals, and I'll be fine with that. I'm content with that. But when it comes down to telling me general information, I need you to tell me accurate general information.
Come on.
Don't deflect.
Come on with it.
Don't But they, excuse my language, don't half ass
That's true. That's
tell me
true.
stuff.
Plain and
Because
simple.
you tell a half ass truth, then just know that the whole lie gonna come out of you eventually.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I'm like, a half truth is still a lie to me because you still ain't telling me the whole truth and nothing but the truth. So
Mm-hmm.
help me God. Yeah,
Hey.
I'm like, so you get up in that stand or you go into the interrogation room, they're gonna expect you to tell the whole truth,
Mm-hmm.
100%.
Yep.
You tell 50% truth, you still lying to the investigators. And you
Yeah.
still gonna get banged up for
Yep.
lying. So
Yep.
you might as well just open up and tell the truth. Same thing with trauma. If you know that you got something going on in your life, tell the whole truth. Because your story can be somebody else's story to tell to another person.
Yep.
And I'm gonna
Come
sit
on.
back for a second.
I mean, it's the truth. Like your story could help somebody. Your story can really, because God can use our brokenness to help somebody. He really can. He could turn something, use something broke. He can use a broken situation and turn it into something just incredibly beautiful. So your story can help somebody, but you just have to say something. You just easy. Yes, it's easier said than done, but actually just say something. If you know somebody that you're comfortable talking with, talk to that person. Tell them what's going on. Like you said, don't half-ass it. Tell the whole truth. Say what's going on. If you're comfortable saying what's going on, say what's going on. Even if you give a small synopsis, tell the truth, but in a summary. Like, come on,
Right,
like
right.
it's not rocket science. I'm not expecting you to tell me everything, but tell me if you know got something going on. Just say something. Talk to your therapist, talk to whoever you need to talk to, pray, do what you need to do to heal from this. At the end of the day, we all want to heal. We all want to be able to move forward from any trauma that we've dealt with. We all want to be able to just be happy or and be able to be free from the bondage of that trauma, to be free from the chains of that trauma that held us down for years and years and years, if it's years or if it's months or if it's however long it is, or if it's decades for some people, because you got people who have had trauma for decades for a certain situation and it's still there. So we all want to be healed. We all want to be freed from it. So open your mouth and say something. Pray, talk to God. Go to counseling, go to therapy. That'll definitely help. You don't want to get to a point where you're in a deep, deep, deep depression state that you can't get out of. That's a big old hole that you can't dig yourself out of. So you just gotta say something at the end of the day. You just gotta say something. Talk to somebody. If you're comfortable talking with, if you know that you have someone that you're comfortable talking with, reach out to that person. Tell them what's going on. And then you can just go from there with that, just to move forward. Even if it's just a little bit, just tell them because people care. There are people that care about you that want nothing but the best for you, that have your best interest at heart. You just got to give them a chance. If you really trust that person, and if and vice versa, it shouldn't be an issue as far as you telling them what you got going on and just wanting to vent and whatnot. That's just my opinion though. But what do I know? I'm just a bystander.
Oh, you speaking the real. Like, you speaking the real. Because it's like you want people to be in your life who's gonna help you get through what you going through.
Yep,
But
it's true.
then you become such a hypocrite at it that you hurt the people who you asked God to bring in your life.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so now God looking at you like he looked at me or anyone else who has a story to tell. He
Yep.
looking at you like, so your prayers were just falsified then.
Mm,
You still want to live in this trauma, obviously.
man.
You asked me to help heal your trauma, and you still want to live in your trauma by hurting somebody else. Now that person got trauma
Yep. Exactly.
because he or she thought that you can be trusted and depended on to work on your trauma and have them help you go through your trauma. Now you hurt them. Now they got trauma because they can't trust anybody now. So
Exactly.
now it's just a domino effect of trauma when God sent you this person to be your healer.
Yeah,
So you hurt his kid, you hurt his child, and you hurt your blessing.
man.
Now you finna have more situations to battle because now
Yep.
you don't set up there and disrespect the God. You disobeyed him.
Exactly. Exactly. Like I don't know. It's wild, man. It's all in all, what we're wanting to tell you guys is just say something. Please say something. We want you to be healed. We want you to be healed. We want you to be healthy. We want you to be freed from it. And that's one of the first steps is admitting that you need help, admitting that there's a problem, that you have a problem, because not a lot of people will want to admit that, because they don't want to be a burden on anybody or anything like that. But all in all, what we're just saying to you guys is just important. It's very crucial that we heal from that. It takes time, yes, but when you're healed, when you're free from it, you'll feel a lot better from it. And I trust us. We've been there. We know what it's like. We don't want to go back at all, and we want to help you guys. We want to help you guys, and that's what this is about. That's what this journey is about. Is wanting to help you guys out, man.
And I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna let you have the last word. The right person in your life, you would never be a burden to.
Yeah,
With
yeah,
the right people in your heart, and if they have the right heart for themselves, and they know that they're meant for you, and you're meant for them, you would never be a burden.
yeah.
You will
It's true.
always be they go-to person. You will always be their best friend. You will
Yeah.
always be the love of their lives. True
Yep.
love, true friendships, true relationships. You're never going to be a burden to each other. No matter how much you get on each
Mm-hmm.
other's nerves, you would never be a burden because at the end of the day, both of y'all are on a team. You a tribe.
Mm-hmm.
We all a tribe. We
Yep.
helping. We
Exactly.
healing. We sharing
Exactly.
stories. We sharing
Mm-hmm.
testimonies. So ain't no such thing as being a burden to someone who really care about you and really love you. If they
No.
accepted you, if they accepted your brokenness, they're gonna be there for you. You would never be a burden. Your brokenness is their segue to going to a healing journey with you.
Yeah,
You
man.
got the
Hey,
last word, but I don't say my last word.
hey, look, honestly, I couldn't have said that any better myself. Perry, you done heard the man say it. I couldn't have said it any better myself, man. You won't be a burden to the right person. They're there for a reason, and just talk to them. Just say something at the end of the day. You won't be a burden to the right person at the end of the day. And like I said, he said it better than I could have even said it. So honestly, man, with that being said, hey man, this was a well needed conversation. And for those of you who are listening, we hope that you took something from this, man. So as always, this is your boy Sylvester, aka Sly.
The one and only Perry, aka Mr. Ambitious.
Hey, and we love you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. And we will see you guys on the flip side. Y'all be blessed.
Yes, sir.